Hello and welcome to part 2 of Domain and Range. In this part of the mini lecture, I am going to look at some graphs for domain and range. So we have 5 examples here. Let's go through each one of them. Now remember that domain is all the possible independent or x values. Range is all possible y values. So in A, you're looking for what can x be. If you look, x is at about -1. Now these are hand-drawn, so I intended for each one of them to be at an integer coordinate. So we are going to say x goes from -1 to 3, not including -1, but including 3. So in domain, for A, we are going to parentheses -1, comma 3, bracket to represent what's included and what's not included. Same thing with the range. This time it looks like -4 on the y and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the y. -4 is included, 6 is not. So we are going to write bracket -4, comma 6. For B here, domain looks like it goes from -4 to 2, both included. So we are going to write bracket -4, comma 2 to represent that's included. And for range, all that the range is on this one looks like it's exactly at 4. So for that, if you want to write an interval, you could write 4, comma 4. Or you could write it as a set of points, which is 4. C, D, and E are a little more difficult. For C, let's look at the domain here. -1, -2, -3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, -8 to 0. Then there's a little bit of a break. Starts up again at 1 and goes until 4. And we can write this with a union. So we are going to write parentheses -8, comma 0, bracket, we're including 0, union 1, 2, 4. Include 1. Don't include 4. For the range, notice on the range here how, for example, 2 appears in both the first part of the graph and the second. But you don't need to write 2 separate range values. The range goes simply from -3 to 6. And I can say that because at some point between the interval from -3 to 6, at least one, if not 2 parts of this graph are part of that particular range. So all I need to write is bracket -3, 6 parentheses. I don't need to write a separate interval for this here because this, whatever's in here in the second graph, is also included in the first graph. So there's no need to write again. Let's look at D. D goes from -9 to -1, picks up again at 3, and goes till 8. So we are going to write bracket -9, comma -1 parentheses, union 3 to 8. So parentheses 3, comma 8 bracket. For the range on this one, they both go from 1 to 6. And both of them have closed dots. So therefore you'll have bracket 1, comma 6 parentheses. And E, I made into 3 pieces of a graph here, just to illustrate that it can be more than 1, more than 2. So this domain is at -6 to -3 to -4, excuse me, not including -6 or -4, -2 to 0, and 2 to 8. So let's write that out. Parentheses, -6 to -4, parentheses, union, -1, bracket, to 0, bracket, and then again 2 to 8. For the range, we have a variety of numbers that we should be using here for the range. So for this one here, we have -4 to -2. You'll see here. Then this starts up at -1, and some part of the graph, so here -1 to 3, these two pieces are from -1 to 3. So even though there's an open circle here, at 1, on the range, it's over here in this part of the graph, in the second piece. So therefore, I don't need to represent that it's not included for this one because it is included over here. So let's write that out. -4 up to -2. Union -1, bracket -1, up to 3.